see what the exchange brings us this time.
And Hughes goes out to meet him, maybe to see exactly what was wrong.
He is wearing gloves and thereby set some sort of trivial record. First quarterback to ever play a Super Bowl game indoors with gloves, a carryover from his winter experiences at Soldier Field.
It's interesting. He's talked about the slickness of the balls, and he said, you know, I can't ever get my hands on those balls properly, and I always was losing the passes. Everyone has watched as he's thrown those end-over-end egg beaters. He's not a crisp passer anyway. They said he threw the ball better with the gloves on last week, or 2 weeks ago in that game against the Rams, than he'd thrown it before. And he said, I'm going to keep these suckers on. He said, I could throw the ball better, get a better grip on that ball than I ever could with my bare hands.
Said two things. One, when you use the ball in practice, as they will in college ball, and then into the game, you wear off some of that gloss of a new ball. He said, I also have a small hand. He said, I actually have just as good a touch, and I throw a much better spiral with the gloves on. He said, I might use them again all next season.
Well, he's had good accuracy today. He's thrown some interesting passes. Well, I'll tell you, a defensive nightmare trying to figure out where these Bears are going to go next. They're using every trick in the book, but executing extremely well.
Well, now they've got two tight ends in and an extra guard. The only running back, true running back, is Payton. They've got nothing but linemen, including William Perry in the backfield. Moore had one of the tight ends in motion. Perry will drive through, and following behind is McMahon for the touchdown.
It almost looked like an option play, and there you see McMahon headbutting with his offensive line. Early in the year, he had done some of that and then showed up one day with a back problem. Ditka said he thought it was from the headbutts. He said, I don't want you guys doing that anymore. I think McMahon said, hey, this is the Super Bowl. We're going to butt those heads.
Here's Perry driving, thinking, and then just driving somebody. Oh, my goodness. Did he destroy Larry McGrew?
I think Larry McGrew thought he'd been run over by a truck.
Butler to try the point after. And the Bears, the solid favorite in this game, beaten only once all season long. The top team in the NFL are showing the Patriots why, as they have jumped out to a 17-point lead.
This was the reaction on that last play as McMahon carried it in for the touchdown.
7:24 remaining in the first half. We talked about the differences in character. Well, McMahon and the Bears have certainly been animated, and Easton's very quiet in a lot of ways. But here's Starring trying to change things. Saving tackle by number 59, Ron Rivera from the University of California. Well, Bob Greasy, that touchdown looked as if they had a couple of blocks in the point of attack.
Well, you talk about a decoy. Right here is Perry. He's going to come right in here and get McGrew. Now, it's really an option. Payton is going to come this way, and McMahon has the option to pitch it back or turn it up inside. But the block, you say, number 72, Perry on McGrew, and McMahon has the option to pitch it back and seize the hole up and heads in for the touchdown.
He gets blocked by Tim Reitman, the tight end, along with Emery Moorhead. Both tight ends wound up helping out on that hole as well. Craig James, a yard. The refrigerator.
Well, we mentioned the headbutting that was going on early in the season. Ditka said those guys were trying to split their helmets earlier. They're not trying to hit them that hard here. Almost symbolic headbutting.
Little Super Bowl kiss. 20-3, the Chicago Bears lead it with 6 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the first half. And the Patriots are still in the minus pool without a first down. 2nd and 9. Collins. He's dropped, no gain. Wilbur Marshall, in fact, a 2-yard loss as Marshall from Florida, the second-year man, makes the hit.
Now, we gave you one thing to look at early at the top of the show. We said we were going to watch the big bodies on the line of scrimmage, and that would give us a quick pulse. Well, the pulse has given us that kind of yardage. Negative 25 for the Patriots. Bears, of course, dominating offensively on their line of scrimmage.
Now 3rd and 12, and this is where the Bears were really tough to bring up those 8 men at or near the line of scrimmage. Easton out of the shotgun, and here they come. Oh, my. Nelson, a Pro Bowl linebacker, was there first.
Bob Greasy said it early. He said he felt that Eason would still have scars from the earlier game when he was confused. You see what Eason is doing? He's jumping around. He didn't even know where to run on that play. Didn't know where to throw. Didn't know where to run. Listen, I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to stand down there.
Well, that Bear defense has been awesome in this first half. And now Camarillo will kick from around his own 5-yard line. Keith Ortego back at the Bear 40. Short kick this time. Ortego, fair catch at the 48. Whoa, wait a minute. That's going to be a penalty. Called for a fair catch, and then they use a reverse. As Leslie Frazier, 21, took the handoff from Ortego, but the flag is down. He called for the fair catch and then ran the ball, and the penalty will be marked off from that spot.
Now the question is, and Leslie Frazier, starting corner, still on the ground. They're looking at his knee.
Invalid fair catch. Signal on the fair catch. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Invalid fair catch signal. And so the 5-yard penalty from that spot. And now Frazier being attended to.
Watch this reverse, and we mentioned the gimmicks, the little tricks that these Bears would like to throw at you. Not a good kick by Camarillo, and it kind of faked him out. There's the signal, and I think what happened is for a second he forgot that they had that reverse on. But he got there and picked up the football. Bears are lucky.
Ooh,
Actually, that fumble, if New England recovers, they could ignore the penalty.
And would have had the ball. So Frazier hit hard, loses the football. Dave Dorson, number 22, is the man who fell on it for Chicago. Tom Ramsey, the third-string quarterback for New England, involved in sending in the signals. Grogan with a ball cap in the background, and well, that brain trust trying to figure out something.
A lot of people hoping that Grogan would be able to get into this game. Actually, he prefers the kind of passes that are most dangerous for this Chicago defense. There's the reverse angle on that injury to Frazier, and watch him here as that leg is twisted. Getting him up off the ground now.
Merlin, with the success of this Bears 46 defense, are we going to see a lot of other teams using it? Why is it that they do it so well?
Well, I think a lot of the secret is in Buddy Ryan and the fact that he's had 8 years to work on this defense. He was there waiting for Mike Ditka when he came. And Buddy is like a great orchestra leader. He really gets these players charged up. It's also a high-risk defense. And one of the problems is that when you're doing this many different things, you can beat yourselves. The Bears do not make a lot of mistakes, but the potential is always there.
You got to be right to play it, don't you?
You really do.
First down after the penalty, and Peyton. Typical of Peyton through his great career, making something out of nothing. 5 yards.
Change of pace. Absolutely freezes the defensive man on the outside. Julius Adams will get out. He looked like he was offside. He gets outside because of a late start and gets a chance at Peyton there. Simply couldn't get his arm around it, but the great move was downfield. Peyton just froze one of those linebackers and went right around him.
Meanwhile, Tony Eason said, hey, maybe they've got more than 11, Coach. I don't know.
Bears bidding in the line. I don't know. Let's do it. Ball loose.
And New England has it at the 46-yard line. So the Patriots get a break. And so he didn't appear that he was hit. Might have been changing the ball. And Steve Nelson was there to make sure that it rocked free.
Raymond Claiborne picked that ball up. There you see Raymond coming off the field. And Eason looked a bit disappointed there in the sideline. He'll get his hands on the football again quickly here. There's the strip on the outside, 55. Blackman sticking that hand in there, and that's something that Barry has his whole team do every day. Practice getting on those punts, getting that ball and laying down successfully. Raymond Claiborne did it there. I'm not so sure that Easton and that offense want to go back out. Oh, Grogan's out there.
Steve Grogan, the veteran from Kansas State, laying on a knee that is hardly 100%. The veteran, and he chases the fly swat. It was wide open. That ball is up for grabs, and no one saw it. Richard Dent, what a force he has become. Reminds me of your former teammate, Deacon Jones. So quick off the ball, always around it. And there he uses those long arms to knock one high in the air.
Brian Holloway said something to me. He said he's so fast, but he looks like he's gliding off the ball. Here he is, coming off on Holloway, who lets him go. He goes right up in the air. That looks like he's spiking a volleyball when he got up there. An almost identical play in the Ram game 2 weeks ago. In that play, it was McMichael who almost got it and headed in for a touchdown.
2nd and 10 for Grogan. Completes it to Collins. And Tony Collins is into Bears territory with the first New England completion. It comes with 4 minutes and 50 seconds left in the first half.
Easton will not be pleased to remind himself of those stats. I said earlier that Grogan matches up better against the Chicago Bear defense than Easton. The reason is Grogan loves to go to the outside receivers, who are usually man-to-man coverage in this Bear defense. Easton likes to throw to the backs and the tight ends. Let's see what Grogan is going to do out of the shotgun here. He's going the long one.
That was an 8-yard gain, the longest of the game for New England. 3rd and 2. To James. Good move by James, and a first down, the first of the game for the Patriots. Gary Fensick, 45 with the tackle, and James pulling at that hamstring. Singletary is down.
Isolation of Craig James, and this ball had to be thrown in a hurry. The heat was on. James, that's such a tough catch, but double circle, 2 360s, he still gets himself upfield for the first down.
It was Perry that hit Singletary. That 308 pounds plus of Perry driving into the tackle, and he destroyed his teammate Singletary. They work on that middle linebacker of the Bears, apparently at least okay. Ask Mike Singletary. It's not always fun to be around Refrigerator.
You want to know how tough he is, though? He gets up from that hit. A lot of times you're hurt by your own players. In this case, Dent putting a shot on Grogan. I'll tell you, Grogan will take those shots if he can complete the passes. He is tough.
Their first down. Now it's Tony Collins. And the blade, as they call him, because the way he chops down the defenders with his blocking talent is dragged down by Fensick and Hampton.
Dick, 2 things to think about. There comes one tough son of a gun right there. Singletary coming back in. They want him out on the field. He's their leader. But Grogan, as a second quarterback going onto the field, a lot of times the defense will let down a little bit. Also remember, he favors the outside receivers, and Mike Richardson is on one side, but Frazier is out of the game. So they got a replacement over there in his place. Phillips.
48 Reggie Phillips. 2nd and 1 for Grogan. There he is. Throws the quickie to Derek Ramsey, but well covered. Wilbur Marshall. Hampton in the face of Grogan.
Grogan signaling what he wants in the way of people on the field. And remember, Raymond Berry lets Grogan call his own plays. Grogan did that earlier in the year. Irving Fryer, one of the people out there quickly, and it's interesting to see how quickly now there's a shift. You feel a little shift down there. A little more confidence, perhaps, in this veteran leader in this tough situation.
3 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the first half. The Bears dominating. Lead 20-3. Grogan for starter Tony Eason has a 3rd and 7. And he had to throw it away as that 46 defense just in on Grogan before he could even search out his intended target, Stanley Morgan. Otis Wilson jamming Grogan to the turf.
They'll put a clock on you, and they're bringing the whole group, just driving over the top. And Grogan, who's feeling the heat, Singletary up in there along with the lineman, had to throw it away.
Well, they occupy, as I said before, all the middle of the line occupied, so that leaves someone free. Here he comes.
Oof. Otis Wilson from the outside, one of those 2 linebackers that line